his time, even after class, he's always around to go through with you and all of these things. Thank you very, very much for that. Yeah. So a little bit about me is let me say, I like to call myself the marketing person, even though people like to call me like multi-skills, because I'm always learning something new. I feel that you would almost go out of business, whether it's your career or whatever it thinks you are doing. If you want to excel, the skills that you need and all of that, you will be out of date very soon in this fast-paced world. And so I learned so many things. But core of all of it, I like to identify myself as a marketing person. Okay, so that is really, that is really about me. Yeah.
Great, Charity. That was very short, very apt, and we thank you for sharing that with us. I would like to understand. You work as a tech and activation lead at BGC. You have a platform that inspires women in tech. You do a number of things. You even have a software. As
Great.
well that teachers
Great.
and students, together.
Yes.
How did you exactly start this? What caught your interest? Why did you choose to go into tech as opposed to any other field? Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to continue from where I started off, because I'm going to do my my beginning really lengthy. Okay, so even though I identify as a marketing person, because that is what I have been noticed to do all the time, all throughout when I was growing up in my mother's shop, I was selling on campus, I was always doing one business or the other, and I was always making sure that people were buying my things. And so I kind of identify myself as a person who creates platform, creates opportunities for people for some reason, because of the passions that I have. And that is how I have ended up creating the type of platforms that we have. Now, all my businesses are mainly like platforms, really. So for instance, when I started Mocha Freak was a way to show the work of craft people, very talented people who didn't have the opportunity of a website, the opportunity of marketing, and all of those things that we need a person to sell their products, right? Even though they were talented. Okay. And then comes Chic Techpreneur also to tell the stories of women and all of those things. And then also there's also eSchool Finder, which creates a platform for people to connect, people who are looking for things to learn, looking for tutor, looking to connect with a school and all of that. So as you can see, I have mixed all of my my multi-skills in marketing, my skill in software, my skill in automation, my skill in all of these things, management, project management, digital product development, management, and all of these things. I pull all of them together, and I'm just developing myself as I move on, you see. So how did I kickstart my career? I was working in an FMG. We were selling. Of course, I was trying to develop my sales career in all of this. And I realized that anytime we were in the office, there was this guy who always comes to our office to pitch for something, some form of website or some form of app. And he was overcharging the boss. Like, for instance, at the time, that was many years ago when I was trying to learn like selling and all of those things, we were being paid like 500 cedis at the time, right? But this guy would come and do some one or two things, and they were paying him like 6,000 cedis. So you can just imagine the vast difference. And when the website comes out, it's almost like, oh, what is this? And then he's teaching us how to do the back end and all of that. So I kept asking myself, why is this guy always coming here, taking these huge sums of money, doing all these things, but at the end, we are still having problems with this? So I told myself, what if I can do this too? I really wanted to understand what really goes into some of these things. So one day I chanced on a community, just like Blossom is called iSpace, and they said they were teaching women how to code and stuff. It was difficult because I was at work. I was working at the time, and it's not something that I should be thinking about at the time. But I was young, and it was I was young. I had married early. I've had children and stuff, but I didn't have anything concrete in my hand aside selling and stuff. So I told myself, look, I'm going to do one crazy thing in my life. One day I'm going to tell my children and my children's children. So I quit my job at the time. I quit my job, and the consequences were a lot. Like I didn't have money at the time. My parents were always calling me for money. I didn't have it. And I had to step up. I felt that this was a time to learn. So I put myself into that 1 year program. So in that program, they taught us CSS, HTML, JavaScript, all those foundational things that we need to get on top. Those were the things that we learned at the time. And it was worth it, because out of that, I started to build my pet project, which was Mukafrik. And as we go forward, I'm going to talk a little bit more into passions, pet projects, and all of that. So that is what sparked my interest. And all this while, I would say that at the end of just 2021, I've gotten an international job. I have sat in investor meetings. My business has attracted people from Germany, US, Netherlands, all these other places. Like, we want to partner with you. This is the power of the digital. I saw it in that guy coming to take money, but I didn't know it could go this far. And now I'm doing an international consulting job. Yes. So yeah, that's really what sparked my interest.
That's inspiring that you used your talent as a marketer, and then you just added the digital world to it, and then it's going really well for you. It's great. But it actually makes us think that when you started, it must have not been easy at all. It definitely faced some challenges. So what are some of the things that you faced, and how did you overcome them during your work? Oh,
okay. So I'm going to start with the learning parts, and then I'm going to move into maybe my job and all of that thing. Now, I know there's a woman in tech meetup, so I'm just going to touch a little bit on some of those aspects too. Though the first thing is you have to learn a skill, and it has to be a tech skill. Okay, so that was the challenge I faced. Now, when I'm looking at the tech space, especially in Ghana, or even what the world or the world PR has put it, someone has gone to school in Harvard and has studied computer science, and the person has built an app, and the app is trendy. That's the story that goes on all the time, right? But then some of us have a little bit different story, and that story is that we are already married. We are already running some 1 or 2 businesses. We are already in our job, and we did not have the tech skill at the time, even though we're still young, right? So that was the challenge I faced at the time. How do I become a woman in tech if I do not know how to code? How do I even stand and pitch my ideas in the office when I don't even know what technologies have gone into it? And the space kept on changing every single time. So for me, that was the very, very first mistake, very, very first challenge that I faced. And this was the issue. Now, after I quit my job, which was so bad at the time, the next challenge will be that now I have to understand these codes. Now, let's face it, this is not an easy thing. You can go into like talking to people and asking them, okay, why are you not doing this? Oh my God, the coding is so hard. I cannot do it. I don't even understand anything about it. So that is one very, very like first thing that I had to face from someone who was not into maybe any tech background before, but then I had to reskill and put myself into a type of skill that I had to learn. Now, the journey was a little bit difficult for me because I have to adjust a lot of conditions and all of that. But I would say that I took it one day at a time. So that was the biggest issue. Now, let me talk about work. Now, you are carrying a title that you are the tech and automation lead. And so you have to be that. You have to be the one to draw plans for automation systems and stuff like that. And there are times that people come and then my boss will say, hey, this charity, she's about, and they bring the problem to you. You need to sit down and draw the plans with them. And you're facing challenges. You're like, why is this not working? It's just not working. And they are looking at you in your face, but you have to deliver. That is why you always see that when you follow me, I'm always learning. I'm always understanding the new technologies, because I also help companies with the type of tech that they need in their company. So yeah, those were some of the main major challenges that I faced. And skilling is a big challenge, especially in Africa. There are a lot of people who say that I know how to do tech stuff, but they don't understand the skills. They don't understand the codes. They don't know what is going on. And that is a very big thing. Okay, so yeah, that's yeah. I think those were the main challenges.
So like you just mentioned how your boss would say that you're the tech and automation lead, and at that time you couldn't even, certain things you couldn't even understand. So I was going to ask you, have you ever faced that imposter syndrome and ever felt that, okay, no, I don't know how to do this, and you thought that maybe this wasn't even something that you even understood? Did you ever feel that way? Did you ever feel out of depth? And how did you overcome it?
Oh, yeah. They keep coming up all the time. And like I was saying, the whole thing, software space and development and all of that, it keeps changing every time. And for someone like me, I always have to be on top of my world. And that is a big challenge for me, because I'm always have to learn, have to scale what's going on. Because sometimes too, I'm not only doing, I'm teaching. I'm teaching companies, I'm teaching employees in a company how to adopt new technologies and stuff like that. So I have to learn. And yeah. Now, how do I struggle with how I really did, especially, when I was already doing marketing lead, and then I was giving programs director, which was cool. Like I had to work on an African project, which was like help young business owners learn digital and all of that. It was so cute. And also I did some form of project management, which is like oversee the people do the work, which was also easy. And now they're like, oh, I see the interest you're putting in tech, so come and do tech and automation. Oh my God. I had to wait like about, was it 6 months before I even changed my profile on LinkedIn? Because the moment I put it there, people said, hey, I want to be like you. What do you do? And it was really bad. I wanted to give myself 6 months to get into the role, understand what is going on and stuff before I even put it on LinkedIn at the time. But I should have told. Now I tell myself I shouldn't have done that anyway. It was really, really a big mistake for me, because I could have had the chance to engage with well-meaning people that I actually do now. I could have had the chance to connect with people just like me and learn from them too. And that reminded me of an incident. We were launching a platform for one of our co-founders. Okay, and that's called Aftal. I don't know if you've heard of Aftal Music. So we're launching the e-commerce part, and it was quite big. So we were planning it with the US Embassy. Okay, and I haven't been in a meeting like that before. A meeting where all these workers, from the US and I was asked, Charity is a second. I'm like, I'm the tech and automation lead. She will come and present. And I was also leading the project at the time. It was hard. The first time they called me, said, I was speaking, but I don't know whether I was on mute or I was. And then one of the ladies said, hey, you are a Black African woman. You can do all this. I'm like, I know, but please let me put my thoughts together before, So that confidence of, people looking up to you and making sure that you are able to deliver is very, very, very a big issue. But let me tell you one thing. I encourage myself every day. I keep telling myself that I am enough, and what I can do, I can do. There is this thing, I was having a conversation with my husband recently, and I was like, what do you feel about public speaking? The first time I was speaking on an international platform with business owners from different, some are from Hawaii, some in Africa and stuff. And I was asked to be the presenter. at the time. And I was like, I was so anxious for 3 days. I couldn't sleep. It's not like I didn't know my work. It was just because I'm like, all these people, what if they ask me something I don't know? I was so anxious. And when they introduced, oh, is it this young girl who is coming to do the presentation or something? I didn't have that big profile at the time and all of that. I was like, but you just deliver me. I'm not afraid and stuff. So that gave me that kind of stark difference between the world that our men are and why we need to encourage our girls. And that is what I do to my young girl all the time. So yeah, that's really it.
So on your last point about encouraging women to get into the tech space, what do you think? Do you think enough is being done to actually get more women into the tech space, or do you think there's something missing? Do you think we can do more?
Yeah, you see that is that the last time, let me tell you an experience I had. The last time I was on LinkedIn, of course, and I was checking the Pi ladies out. I had already sent them an application that I just want to be part of a community and see the kind of things they want to do and stuff like that. And I was scrolling through their time. I saw so many girls who were doing something in companies, so many girls who were using that, like they were just highlighting this. And I'm like, so where are all these women that I've not even seen them before? How come nobody has heard about them? Why is nobody raising any awareness about these girls and stuff, you see? And I'm like, oh, so we have a lot of girls who are actually doing these things whilst we are on the forefront saying that there are not too many girls or too many girls don't want to go into this space or the number is small and stuff like that. Let me say this. We haven't done enough job to encourage. We haven't done enough job to inspire. We haven't done enough job to mentor. Okay, that is why there is not even a competition in our space here. You see, there's not so much competition because people have not been encouraged. People have not been told that they could know and stuff like that. So there's not so much that have been done. And I feel that all of us, everybody here on this platform could try to do some form of advocacy. And I feel that it may still not be enough. And then I also noticed something. When hubs like maybe Blossom, iSpace, and all of, all these hubs are doing some form of advocacy, I haven't seen anyone come to my cons class at University of Ghana, okay, to come and talk to me about the possibilities of, re-strategizing and moving into or considering a field like this. Okay, the only thing I hear in their stories that, oh, I was studying computer science and maybe Regina came to our class. They go to the sciences. What about us? Because there are lots of us who actually wanted to study it, but we were not given. Okay, and then later we found that, there was a field that we could have known. So I told myself, if I was doing this thing like maybe 20 or 10 years ago, imagine, right? Imagine if I was given the option to know all this. I did not know. And that's really, really not good. Like, it's really not good. Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, you've already you just expressed that at a point it would have been, if you knew earlier, you would have gotten into it. Why do you think it's important for women to get into the tech space in the first place?
I didn't hear that. Like, is this something? What can we do to help them get into the tech space?
Yeah, what I want to understand is why you, because you've been in the tech space, you've experienced, you've worked quite some time in the tech space. So I just want to understand why you think it's important for us to have more women in the tech space, to counter the male dominance.
Okay. Yes. Most importantly, we need more women. We need more women in this space right now. Okay. Now, I noticed this trend. I thought I was the only one in the data class until I met Benedicta. But even if Benedicta was not in my class, I would have still used that to make a statement that I was the only girl in that class. They called out, there was a call out for classes. The link would have been shared everywhere. Women have seen it. Men have seen it. But out of that number, only, I think we are 8, and out of that, 2 of us are ladies and the rest are men. That's crazy. Like, that's a lot. Now, I was also reading a submission by Women in Tech Africa, the lady, Ezel Kofi, and she said something. The way women respond to things are extremely different from the way men respond to things, right? So, for instance, if you are interviewing a lady, okay, I have so many skills. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing with all of them, right? And then you come to interview me, I may say, okay, I'll try, I'll see what I can do. And that has been the response throughout, about 80%. But then a man maybe may have just 20% of everything you're asking for, but he will apply. He's going to apply and say, yes, I'm qualified and I'm going to do it. And so this has become like a more cultural thing where we downplay the things that we do or we can't do. It was only recently that I started being very vocal. I was in the dark, just like all these other women on Pie Ladies and stuff. I was building my career. I was doing the managerial stuff. I was building a portfolio for myself, but I didn't think there was any reason to reach out until I started seeing these things. I started interviewing for e-school finder volunteers. And the last talk of they could write. I saw their digital platforms and stuff. But when you interview them, say, I'll try and do. But then you see a man who doesn't have any portfolio, no evidence, nothing, right? But he said, I can do it and I can help e-school finder to be where they want to. And I'm like, what is going on? These were the experiences I was facing at work. You are looking for a lady to present and like, oh, you go and present. Let's be here. And stuff like that. It was becoming too much, right? So that was when I founded SheTechPreneur. I said, what if there's a platform like Pie Ladies is doing where we can talk about all these areas? We can teach them the different places, because she's looking for a whole information to even make, like she's looking for a whole lot of things before she could make that decision. So the way we appeal to them is a little bit different. So in our advocacy, we are encouraging, we are inspiring, we are saying that it's not difficult. Right? I only started learning Python when a lady came up and said it was not difficult. It's just calculating. And true, when I started, little by little, I have a math, econ, statistics background. And so, yes, it was not that difficult for me. I could do it. You can also do it. So we can't let go down of inspiring the way we respond to things. It has been cultural. And before we can change cultural, it's going to take a long time. So how do we structure our messages in such a way that we could attract that young girl who is in a man's world, in a world where everyone is confident, in a world where things have already been made up, in a world where it looks like everybody has got it together, but it looks like she has not got it together. Our message must be a little bit different. It doesn't have to say women in blossom or women in this, but the way we craft our messages, the way we put things together for the public, it has to have a way of attracting these young people. You can put there that, you don't have to have all the skills, but you are encouraged to apply. You don't have to say women encouraged to apply or women encouraged to learn. Python is not difficult. It's changing, but you have to be on a journey and stuff like that. So these are some of the things that we have to do to get more women into technology. We also have to go to the places that people have not gotten into. We need to ask ourselves, which place is saturated? Which place is not saturated? For instance, nobody came to my economics class to ask me, oh, Charity, would you have learned this if you had the opportunity? They were always in the engineering classes. Why are they always in engineering classes? Why? They are always in the computer science classes. Why are they there? But there are a lot of people who didn't have backgrounds in that. I wanted to study this thing, but no one gave me the chance. You know how our Ghanaian systems are. They give you a course, you don't want it. And you don't have information. You don't have a mentor and stuff. Nobody is there to tell you anything. And that has been the biggest regret of my life. I could have been doing this thing way, way, way before. Yeah.
Great. I would like to ask, you've been there for some time now, you've worked in the tech space for some time now. So for those of you who don't know, Charity runs a blog. She runs a blog that's called SheTechPreneur. Afterwards, I'm sure she would share the link with you so that you can go and then just read about some stories of some inspiring women in the tech space. Now, Charity, you've met a lot of women in the tech space. You yourself, you're one. What are some of the top skills that you think a woman who wants to get into tech should have? What do you think will set her apart?
Okay, So let me say this, like every software engineer will tell you, learn the basic skills is very important, right? So HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these other things. However, I do have a bold ask, which I have started to even advocate to people in my community and stuff. Be bold. You have to be bold as a woman in tech. Let me just put it that way. You need to ask yourself, what technology or what trend is in the technology space that I can do that can help me? Okay. And we all know it's what? Data science. Okay. You have to be bold. I've seen some ladies who have just done the HTML thing and they are just building front end. I like front end. I like this. I like that. And they haven't even taken the time to understand the basics of data or anything. I just tell myself, we need to be bold. You need to be trendy. You need to put yourself into the trends. You need to be put at a place where anytime that you are asked, you have the answer. And so that is what I am trying to tell myself. I already know this basics, all this bootstrap and things and stuff. But what about data science? What about the basics? What about learning it even to the point of machine learning and stuff? So recently I was talking to a guy, of course, it's guys who are teaching us and then one person was telling me that I was saying, oh, I want to move into machine learning algorithm because that's what we are building eSchool Finder into. Actually, eSchool Finder is actually an algorithm-based platform that we have not even started building. What we are doing is that we are just beta testing just demand and supply of education and stuff. So, and the person, hey, that is difficult. Are you sure you can learn it? I'm like, that's really put me off. I'm like, why are you telling me that? In my mind, I was like, watch me. That's all. You see, so people have already put it in their mind that there are some fields that are too difficult for you, for someone like you. So please move aside, let's learn and stuff like that. But you have to be trendy and you have to be bold. And that is why the data science at Blossom is very critical. I like what you are doing at Blossom because people like us, we are so busy. Not that we don't want to get full, but we are so busy that the idea of putting ourselves out there in a classroom again looks weird because we don't have the time, right? But then what Blossom is doing is that they are taking us on weekends. They are taking us through the different codes, the queries, the SQLs and stuff. And at the end of every class, they give us what? Assignments. And they give us real-time data where we clean, we analyze, we do the visualizations and all of that. Right. And after all of that, you still have out class consultation with your teacher and stuff like that. So you don't have any excuse. There are so many online platforms. So I feel that women should go into data science more. A lot, yeah. Machine learning, algorithms. And also there's also this thing, I wanted to talk about this thing of algorithms where people train machines to sound like a man or sound like a white man instead of a black man, But the question is that what if we also were part of that project? Maybe we could have raised some kind of objection that, no, this machine doesn't sound like me. And if I input any command or something, it may look different, you see. So the way, for instance, we use softwares to build bots in my company, like we build interactive bots for some companies who are customer service based and stuff. And the way I'll use my software to build the boat for the company is extremely different because, of course, when you come to my boat, I will say, are you a male or a female? And what I design for the female is entirely different from what I designed for the male because, of course, I understand that there are two groups of people, who are, human beings and stuff, So it's very important. We need to add our voice. If you don't have the skill, you can't talk because you don't even know what people are talking about. But we need to be bold too. Yeah, thank you.
So just one final word before we go into the questions from everyone here. Just one last advice to women who are interested in starting a profession in tech.
Okay, yeah, starting a profession in tech. Let me put it this way. Let me start it this way. There are so many things you can do in tech, right? Do you know that there was a software developer who asked me, When I told you do as a tech and automation, I was like, but you're supposed to be a software developer. You should have known like what I do. So I explained the things like we look at core processes for businesses, and then we see what some of the things that are too repetitive and could actually be automated to increase revenue. And so it's like, what does that even mean? What languages, what software do you? I'm like, okay, you know what? It's fine. Okay. So what advice that I would give um is that you need to volunteer. That's one thing. That is what helped me. Okay. You need to volunteer, or you need to put yourself in an internship. That is very, very important. Now, people like the paid kind of internship, but then what about if you could do the free one that could teach you, how to, you are learning at the same time, you are gaining a skill today that you will be paid for tomorrow. You get it? So number one, take advantage of online classes, take advantage of mentors. Now I'm trying to just get my voice out, because at first I thought, oh, who will hear me? But I know there are lots of young people who are now reaching out to me on LinkedIn, reaching out to me on Instagram, and I've become busy all of a sudden. There are business people who are now looking for alternatives, like how can I get my business operations to a level where I could be more efficient and stuff. Whilst I started putting my story out there. So you need to look out for mentors, join communities. Data science at Blossom Academy has started doing the Women in Tech program. Be there. Go to programs, go to conferences whilst you are learning. But then one more thing that helps me with my scaling is that anytime I start a project, I look for somebody who is I'm accountable to, right? So I have a young lady, Amma, like she's so young than me, but she is already way, way up in the profession. So I told her, Amma, that's what I want to do. So can you check up on me? So every day when she sees me, said, where have you gotten to? Hey, that was the same thing you said last week. What are you doing now? These are some of the things. Look for people who are in your community, like friends. Form some type of friends that are interested in what you are doing, because this thing can be hard. There are times that I use a whole week to understand just one concept. It's so frustrating sometimes, but it's also sweet, so much sweet that you've been able to figure out this whole thing. For some reason you've gotten it. But what if I didn't have that community? What if I don't move with friends who have the same passion? Okay, maybe they are doing something about, they have the same passion to grow. They have the same, so join communities, Women in Tech at Blossom, join Pie Ladies, join iSpace, join places. Make sure that you are always in a space where you are going to learn. Look for accountability partners. Look for a mentor who is already, maybe if you're already married like me, I married very early at 23. So you may think I'm old, but look for people who are having the same peculiar challenges like you, because something can stop you. And that something could be that, oh, I just got married. Oh, I just had a child. Oh, no, I just got a job, so I cannot do this. But I have a very demanding job. I have a very demanding platform that I'm building. I have a very demanding home with 2 kids. But then I'm telling myself that I want to learn it. So you need to, put yourself in that space. Number one, you're encouraged. Look for that community that you can put yourself. But most importantly, please look for a pet project. Like I kept saying, Muka Freak was a pet project. It was not a company I was building. It was just that, how can I use Bootstrap to build something out? That was the beginning. It's just recently I used WordPress to change it out, but it was really crappy. But it was something. I tried to learn it. And for data analytics, I have a pet project for it. So, yeah.
Very much inspiring words. I'm sure everyone else has, learned something from what you've shared. So to the rest of us here, if you have any questions for Charity, I'm sure she'll be very happy to answer you. You can unmute yourself when you want to ask a question, please. We have at least 13 minutes to go.
That's 2. Please, I want to ask a question.
Yes.
And please, I wanted to know when you start getting into the tech sector, did you ever have a feel of imposter syndrome? And if you did, how did you deal with it?
Okay, yes. I think we already spoke about that earlier. Jimmy asked me the issue about the confidence and stuff, and I did mention that yes, I did face that issue all the time, and I'm still facing it. Why? Number one, because the scene is changing every single day. The software scene, the automation scene, the development scene, the tech scene is changing. What you knew yesterday has been altered a little bit, like a month or 6 months or a year. So it's very difficult if you are not on top of your skills, or even if you are on top of your skills, you may come to a point where you're feeling like, this is not going to work for me or something like that. But like I said earlier on, I just kept telling myself that I am enough. I think that is what has really given me that quantum leap to where I am. Because let me tell you, I got a job at Mastercard, right? Yes. And the lady asked me a question that I knew, but for some reason I felt like, hey, won't she think this or that, whatever it is. And then later on, I called the lady and said the thing is too big for me and that I cannot do it. That was like some years back and stuff, right? That was bad. I look at a lot of decisions I made in the past because of this, and I regret it so badly. And some I don't want to say because I know you call me stupid, but it was that issue. It was that imposters. So now I tell myself that I am enough. I can do what I have to do, and I can do it very well. I'm extraordinary. I'm bold. I'm beautiful. I have the answer to what I can do. So yeah, those are some of the things I tell myself. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jessica, any other questions, please?
Oh no, I'm okay.
From anyone else, I'm sure she'll be happy to answer. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, Charity, I believe it's been an insightful session. Very grateful for you joining us here. But before you leave, I really want to share a number of our programs that are coming up. So we have a data science program up next month, that's August 21st. It's a 15-week program. Data science is a 15-week program, and then we have a data analytics program starting on the 4th of August. The beauty of enrolling at Blossom Academy is just like Charity shared earlier when she was speaking with us. You have access to your tutors 24/7. There are videos that you can look at. There are soft skills training. There is a community that you can learn from. And also, we also usually say this, we try to connect almost everyone to opportunities, exciting opportunities out there. So if you do come to Blossom, you're not making the wrong choice at all for your tech career. So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. We hope as you're going, you've learned something from Charity today. I hope that she has inspired you. And yeah, I'm wishing you a happy Saturday. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Wow. Yeah.
Thank you.